So guys, good afternoon to everyone. I am Siddharth. So today I am going to teach Python for you guys. So today whatever the topic that we are going to see means in Python about introduction to Python. So from where the Python have started. So why should we have to use Python? Where should we have to use the Python? How did Python got its popularity? All those things we will be going to see now. Okay guys. First thing is introduction to Python. Now Python was created in the late 1980s as a successor to the ABC language, and it was created by Guido van Rossum, and it was first released in the year of 1991. Fine. So Guido van Rossum is the person who have invented Python. So it have came to the field in the year of 1991. Fine. So as a successor to the ABC language in the sense means Python has some uh, Python has some languages which have used as a base for building the Python. So there are two kind of languages which was used as a base for Python language. So those languages are ABC language and Module 3 language. Fine. So why these guys have used ABC and Module 3 language as a base for Python in the sense means uh, because Guru Van Rossum was working related to this ABC language previously before he was started to invent Python. That means started to create Python. Fine. So some of the features like exception handling, all these features have got from these Module 3 languages, and some main features like functional features, characteristics, and other characteristics have been taken from this ABC Python programming language. Fine, guys. Good. So Python is the world's fastest growing language now. It is a very beginner friendly programming language. People uses Python in various fields like big data, that means data analysis, AI, artificial intelligence, ML, machine learning, and also in the automations. See, so as I have told you before, Python was found in the year of 1991, but some other languages like Java, all those languages have been found in the year of 1995. And just comparing two languages because not to dominate the one language to the other, just to compare to make sure how that the languages have influenced our Indian peoples and that students, right? And also the field. That means about the IT field or programming field, all those fields. Fine. Here because in previous days like before in 2000s and all, mostly C++, Java, all those languages were quite familiar with us. That means we were continuously practicing about all these languages. But before 4 to 5 years, hardly about 6 years or 5 years, we are starting to move towards Python. That means most of the people are rushing towards Python, right? May I know, is there any idea about why we are rushing towards Python? What made Python to get such a huge popularity between these years? The main reason is Python have started to come to its formation. That means Python have came across with a lot of formations like changing its syntax, changing its behavior, addition of lot of modules for these much years. So which made Python a very familiar language, that means a multi-purpose language. Not only this programming language is suitable for using for a specific domain like web development means web development, machine learning means machine learning. Not like that. It is used, it can be used in all the other domains. Fine. So the most important thing which have gained its popularity is nothing but machine learning and also data analysis techniques, and also about this artificial intelligence, deep learning, and neural networking. See, the world is moving towards automations now. So if you guys have seen about latest speeches of the big company CEOs like Facebook, YouTube, that means yeah, Facebook, Twitter, even with Tesla, all those people have started to move towards automation. So people have started to search. So through which language we can able to achieve these kind of automations techniques. So on the final, it have chosen as Python because Python has enriched a lot of it is enriched with a lot of inbuilt modules and also with some inbuilt packages which makes comfortable to use for machine learning purposes. fine. So machine learning and also for artificial intelligence purpose. So if for an example, if you guys are going for a theater, in the sense means even your friend may not know where you are, but even Google can able to address you in which theater, which seat you guys are able to, you guys are located, like that. So all these things can able to achieve easily through Python. So and another thing that I have to notice here, so this session is completely going to be about Python and its special features, all those things and all. But it is not, you guys should not think that all those things can able to achieve, something can able to achieve with Python, it cannot be able to achieve with other languages. It is not like that. That means all the thing that we are doing in a specific language can also be done with other languages also. So if you are developing a web application through machine, that means through Python, means you can able to develop the same kind of web application through JavaScript, Java, whatever the language may be, even PHP also. But here the point is, which helps to minimize the number of lines, which helps to increase the execution speed on looking all these categories. Python will have a slight edge apart from all the other programming languages. Fine. So this is why Python have got its how to say overall boom in this past 5 to 6 years. So this boom has made Python to concentrate on other field also, like web development field and mobile application field, and also with the desktop application, mobile application field. Mostly Java dominates all the other programming languages, but in case of web application, most of the companies have started to move towards Python, and because of a famous framework named as Django framework. Not only Django is a framework which is used to develop dynamic web application so easily. So not only Django is there, it has lot of web application frameworks are there. For an example, Flask is also a web application framework which is developed with the help of Python. Django, as I told you before, Django. After that, Tornado, Hug. These are all some of the web application framework which was created with the help of Python. That means which makes web development more easier. It may be a dynamic web page or a static web page, but through this Django, it makes to develop a web application more easier. Right? Because of its inbuilt packages. Mostly you guys don't want to concentrate on the configuration of the web application. Apart from that, if you are using Django, you can able to concentrate on the coding languages. Fine. So in web application field, this is the status here. And then another important thing is, it is if some person who knows about Python means only a person who has technical knowledge can able to use Python, not like that. That means every person, that means a mathematician. So we'll be going to see it in the next slide. So who are all the person who can able to use Python? So it means now people are comfortable with Python to say that. See, who can use Python? Not only a software engineer can able to use Python, mathematician can able to use Python, data analysis, scientist, accountant, network engineer. So all these people can able to use Python. That means a person do not have that means a technical knowledge also can able to use Python in his daily life. So for an example, so if I have a need, like yeah, I'll be trying to show you with an example. So these are all some images. So this is a folder named as Getty face crop, like that. This is a folder. So each and within this folder, it has lot of n number of folders, and each n number of folders consist of n number of images. In case if you are giving me, someone is giving you a task like all these image names, I have to retrieve it. Like that means how can you able to do that? That is the task that someone is giving to you. So how can we able to use, if someone don't have any knowledge about any programming language or software coding, what they will be using, they will be going to each and every images, and they will be trying to copy the name, then they will be trying to copy it in the Word or else whatever text file it is, right? But in case if someone have some technical knowledge about Python, we don't need any interior technical, but some technical knowledge is enough about Python. you can able to achieve it through Python itself. That means the folder, if see, it has n number of folders here. It has n number of folders here. Within this n number of folders, we have n number of image files also. One image, one folder might consist of one image, and another folder might consist of more lot of images. See, so this folder consists of, see how many images. So if you guys have to copy this in a word means, we can able to do that with a simple line of code. See, this is a simple line of code. This means just 14 line of code is enough to do that task for you. So you don't want to go to each and every image file. You have to copy the name. You have to paste it somewhere else. It is not like that. Just you can able to write this code like this is the path where the file is being located. This is the file that this is the code that you have to extract only the file names alone, and you just have to paste in a text file or a JSON file. If I'm executing this code means, if I'm executing this code means I'll be getting a file like this as as JSON, and I will be getting all the images names exactly. Simple. So most of these kind of things will be happening when you are going for the machine learning side. So it is welcome that you guys have started to learn Python, but important thing is you guys have to choose in which domain should you have to go. That means it has lot of domains like web development is a domain, as I have mentioned before, machine learning, artificial intelligence, neural network, deep data analysis, all these things, and also a standalone application also can be created with the help of Python. So there are various modules for that specific purposes. Like so, as we have seen from this time, so not only a technical software engineer can only be able to use Python, but these are the peoples now they are start to, now they are using Python. Fine. Next is, where can we use Python? So Python is used in what kind of technologies and what kind of domain? Mainly data analysis, artificial intelligence or machine learning purpose, automation, web apps, mobile apps, desktop applications, testing purposes, and also for hacking purposes also it is being used now. Fine. So so these are all the main domains where Python is being used. In case of a mobile application, Java have an edge over all the other programming languages. And in case of a database side, JDBC, Java's database will have somewhat higher priority. That means it works quite good than Python's database, because every program you cannot able to say that this language is only better, this language is only better in all the domains. Some languages will have some it's higher and also it's higher and lower things. Fine. Each language will have its both positive and negative things. So what is the thing that we have seen from the beginning is about the introduction to Python. Who are all the people who can able to use Python? Now where can we able to use Python? Because these are some of the important things that case if you are going for an interview, I mean, they will be asking you why you guys have chosen Python. That is an important thing. So apart from all the languages now, so there are Java, JavaScript is there, and C Sharp, PHP, everything. Lot of languages are there being used in the past decades. So Python have been introduced here in India's quite before about 6 to 5 years. So apart by leaving all those languages, why have you started to learn these languages? These are some of the questions they might ask you in interview. For that, you guys have to know all these things and all. Means why you guys have to concentrate on especially on Python. Like so the towards the things the next world is moving towards the automation. So on viewing which language will be quite good for this machine learning automation. So Python will be quite good for this. So on learning this, we will be having a better future. Based on this, we can able to learn Python. Like that, right? So the next thing is why Python is so popular. First thing, it is a beginner friendly programming language. That means it does not have any syntaxes like in case of a C or Java, you guys have to use it hash include studio.h, conio.h, all these kind of syntactical procedures and all Python does not have. Fine. So it have very, very less number of line. For an example, case if you have to use some print, that means just have to print a string means in case of a C and all, how will be using, you have first you have to declare its data type, after that you have to declare the variable, after that you have to assign a value to that variable, after that you have to print that word, that means after printf or scanf, using that printf you have to print that variable. But here, so even it takes 4 line of code even in C and also in Java and some other languages. But in case of a Python, just only one line is enough as print hello world. That is enough. You will be using the only one line of code. I have not used anything else. Print only one line of code is enough for you guys to print what is see hello world. We have found this. Sorry, if you guys to see the output means we have found the output as hello world. Simple. So this one line of code is enough to achieve this print hello world like this only. So it does not have any syntactical procedure or functional procedures to achieve a specific text. If you guys can able to achieve it and see or a, a, a person who is trying to learn Python or else who have wish to program in Python, an important thing is you guys must have to know some mathematical knowledge and also some syntactical knowledge. You must have that ability to write program, but not as much as other languages. In case of some other languages like PHP, Ruby, all other languages, you should have some more programming language to write a specific code. But here in Python, everything have been pre-written by the person who have already written Python. Fine. That means already who have created Python, they have created some of the, they have gave some of those with already inbuilt module. Just we have to know where we have to use that inbuilt module specifically. Huh? If you guys have to know with that also, 50% you have to know where you have to use that inbuilt module, because that inbuilt modules are the one thing which helps to reduce your number of line of codes and also which helps to increase your execution speed. Understand, guys? So as a Python developer, you guys, it is not necessary for you guys to have a very important skill with programming. That means you should need some programming skill also, but not as much as compared to other programming languages like C, Java, all those languages and all. You should have some programming knowledge here. So as a beginner, it will be a very good programming. That means it will be a very good start. Python will be a very good start for you guys to understand how the programming is, all those things and all. But even though if you guys have started to work towards Python, it is better, my advice is go with C++. So on that, if you are started to reading with C++ and Python parallelly, you will be coming to know how this programming stuff. So that means each and everything here they will be bypassing you, because you will not be seeing all those things by yourself. You will not be doing everything by yourself. But in case of C++ and all, you will be doing everything by yourself. On that positions, you will be coming to know, okay, all those things will be working in a specific way. But here in case of Python, everything will be done with the backend itself. You will not be using each and every step by step. All those things will be bypassed. Just you will be writing print hello world, it will be directly printing that hello world. But in case of a C, you will be writing 4 line of code, means you will be better to understand how the code works. So the working of code will be same in every programming languages. So the syntax only will be changing. Fine. And it is cross platform, means it can able to work with everything like Windows also, Linux also, Unix also, Mac also, it can able to work. Fine. And it has huge community to help in case if you are stuck with any of these errors, means it has huge community to help with these errors. Fine. As I have told you before, it has lot of packages, that with inbuilt packages, inbuilt modules and all. In case if you have to find, for an example I'm saying, if you have to find a GCD of a mathematical number, means GCD of two numbers or a square root of a number, means you will be writing the program to find GCD of two numbers or square root of a number. But here they have given with an inbuilt method named as GCD. It is a method. If you are giving just GCD of 2 and 3 means it will be directly giving you a result. Simple. So you don't want to write code from top to beginning about to find a GCD of two numbers here. Just we are going to use that method alone, because all this method have already been written with the people who have already written Python. Fine. And Python is a multi-purpose programming language. Fine. Multi-purpose programming language means it is not developed only for the people who are working with the machine learning or artificial intelligence. It is worked in the form of that in the people who are working in every domain. That means in case of web application also, automation also, data analysis also, even with the network also people can able to use, database also people can able to create. That means if you have to create an SQL command through, if you have to create an SQL command means it is not necessary that you have to go to MySQL database, all those things. And all through Python itself you can able to create database table in SQL or else SQLite or MongoDB in SQL, no SQL. It has lot of flexibilities to use Python everywhere. Fine. So this is a major thing which have gained a lot of popularity to the Python. Fine. It is not restricted to a specific thing. Next is features of Python. That means some of the important things. So these are not the only best features of Python. These are also some of the features of Python. Fine. So for an example, PyAuto GUI, it is a module. Pygame, it is a module, and it's also a turtle, it is a module. Tkinter, it is a module. So as I am telling from the past, as each and everything is module like that. So module is nothing but it is just a workspace. If I am creating a file, that means Python file named as Python 1 means that Python 1 is set to be as a module. Fine. That Python file is set to be, that workspace is set to be as a module. One Python file is set to be as a module. Simple. So everything in every file that you are saving with .py extension is considered to be as a Python file, and that Python file is considered to be as a module. Fine. So here I have created a Python file named as pyt.py. Fine. So in this situation, pyt.py, it is a file that I am working here. So this is a module. This is considered to be as a module. Fine. Super. Now first thing is PyAuto GUI. What is meant by this PyAuto GUI means these are some of the cool features which have came with Python. Fine. It is a Python module which can automate your GUI and programmatically control your keyboard and mouse. So for an example, if you guys have to go to Google Chrome and you have to search for something like for an example, if you're going for Google Chrome and if you are searching for uh, names like that, if you are searching and you have to press this enter also, if you are pressing this enter means you will be getting this page. But for this you have to use mouse and also keyboard. But if you are using this PyAuto GUI means, if you are using this PyAuto GUI, you don't want to use this mouse, keyboard, all these things and all. Through program itself, we can able to automate it. Means at which time it have to go, how much click it have to do, double click it have to do, or single click it have to do. In case of a mouse means to opening some specific folders, we will be using double clicks, right? So in case of a Google Chrome, yeah, I have to open Google Chrome, go to we can able to command to the mouse keyboard or that mouse arrow mark to go to a specific point and to press that point. Like all these things will be coordinated with X and Y coordinate. All these things will be achieved through X and Y coordinates. In case of a pixels, by defining the pixels of by defining the pixels, we can able to move our arrow mark based on the pixels that we are mentioning. Fine. Sorry. Yeah. So this PyAuto GUI, which is used for creating a graphical user interface, also like dialog box displaying, all these things also we can able to use it. And also like as I have told you before, like this automatic purposes to making something automatic, like keyboard automatic, mouse automatic, all these things can also be achieved through this PyAuto GUI module, GUI module, right? So these things will be quite entertaining. In case if you are boring with some of the stuffs, some other programming languages, or even with Python, some a specific concept that if you are boring means, if you are seeing these kind of videos means, it will be quite interesting for you, and it will be also gaining you some uh, extra points in case of an interviews and all. Fine. So next is Pygame. Pygame is a module, that means it is a cross-platform set of Python module designed for writing video games. It includes computer graphics and sound libraries designed to be used with the Python programming language. Fine. So this Pygame is a module which is used to create video game purposes. Fine. As I have told you before, this is why Python is called as a multi-purpose programming language. Fine. This Auto GUI for this is how to say, this Auto GUI. To use this Auto GUI, we don't want to be a very good, very good in programming and all. See, if you are going to the Auto, if you are searching through internet itself, you can able to find out. Just to move an arrow mark from here to there, and to press to a specific folder and to double click at a specific folder means we can able to achieve it within 2 to 3 lines. So this simplicity makes Python to be more popular than other programming languages. Fine. So this Pygame is used for writing video games also. Then Turtle. Turtle. What is meant by a turtle means it is like a drawing board. So if you are using the turtle means in you will be giving. So what kind of drawing you have to draw? Turtle. The after executing this turtle using a program using this turtle, you can able to find in the output window there will be a turtle like symbol which will be moving from here to there, and it can able to draw line in various colors also. You can able to guide with the help of this kind of methods. Methods mean nothing but functions. Fine. So we will be seeing what is the difference between function and the method in upcoming classes. Fine. Method is nothing but function, and a module is nothing but just a Python file. Whatever the file that is saved with .py extension is said to be as a module. Fine. So turtle.forward means it will be going to forward. That means it will be going specifically front or back like that. So turtle.right means it will be moving to the right. Mostly like drawing, you can able to draw some images or some pictures like that. It helps to draw like that. Fine. So next is Tickinter. Tickinter is a specific graphical user interface module. Out of all the GUI methods, Tickinter is the most commonly used method. Fine. Python with Tickinter is the fastest and easiest way to create the GUI application. GUI application is graphical user interface application. Fine. Tickinter mostly used to create a standalone desktop applications and all. What is meant by a standalone or a desktop application means, in case if you're going for a hotel or a medical shop means, for that specific medical shop alone they will be having some application. That means a standalone application. For in case if you have to use that application means, you don't, there is no necessity for an internet connection, so it can be able to work independently. So these kind of applications are said to be as a standalone or desktop application. So we can able to create that kind of applications also with the help of Tickinter module. Fine. These are some of the cool features. More than that, there is lots of features in Python. Fine. To in case if you have to scan a QR code means, there is a specific module to scan QR code. You don't to write all the programs to scan QR code. Just if you're importing a module, import QR code, that is enough. So QR code of that specific image if you are giving means, you can able to scan the QR code and we can able to find out what is the code. That means we can able to encode that QR code. Fine. Sorry, decode that QR code. So these are all some of the feature of Python, like Auto GUI, Pygame, Turtle, and also Tickinter. See, then what kind of language is Python? Normally, people, if you are asking to some other people like Java, Ruby, PHP developer, so all these person, if you are asking me, they will be saying what kind of language. That means in the introduction, so they used to say as Java is an object-oriented programming language. C or else it is a scripting language, or it is a function-based language, like that they used to say. In that way, if we see Python, Python is basically an object-oriented programming language. Fine. Why it is an object-oriented program? Whatever thing that you are writing within Python is a object. Let us say if you are giving a variable named as a, which is equal to assigning that a variable with a number named as 5. So print a means it will be directly printing that specific, that means 5 in your console. Fine. But here that a is equal to 5. A is nothing but a variable. We can say that as a variable also, we can say that as an identifier also, and it is also said to be as an object. It is not only a variable, it is also an object. Whatever thing that you are giving in Python, it will be stored in the form of object. Fine. That is why it is said to be as an object oriented programming language. Fine. Second is, it is a dynamically typed programming language. What is meant by dynamically typed programming language means, in this category we have two programming languages, as statically typed programming language and also dynamically typed programming language. What is meant by a statically typed programming language means, see, if you are giving a variable means, before giving the variable, that you have to assign its data type. That means what kind of data you are going to assign to that variable. All those things you have to assign before itself. Fine. In case of C means, if you're assigning a, if you're going to assign an integer value to a variable, that means a is equal to 5. If you're going to assign like this means, before that you have to denote which kind of data type it is. That means int a you have to mention. After that only you can able to assign a is equal to 5, like that. But here you don't want to mention anything. That means you don't want to mention its data type while assigning the variable. You can able to directly assign as a is equal to 5, like that. You can able to directly assign while running, while executing the command. It can able to find out what kind of data type it is processing. That means Python is processing, it can able to find out. Fine. These kind of languages are said to be as a dynamically typed programming languages. Fine. Here, second is scripting language. Python is also a scripting language. So what is meant by a scripting language? See, scripting language is a programming language designed for interacting and communicating with other programming languages. That means it will be a middle language which helps to communicate with two other programming languages. Fine. So for an example, there are some scripting languages. What are all some scripting language means? Perl, Ruby, JavaScript, Python. These are all said to be as a scripting languages. Why means, for an example, so why this Python is said to be a scripting language means, so let us consider Windows. It was created with what language means, it has a lot of, mostly it is used to C++ languages to create Windows. And I wonder that if you're opening the command prompt means, you can able to execute all the programming. That means if you're writing some code in Java, that all those things means, you can able to execute that in a command, that means in terminal, but command prompt. But you cannot able to write a programming language in command prompt itself and you can able to execute it. But in Python we can able to write this Python in command prompt itself and we can able to execute that also. That is the thing. How it is happening means, see, this Windows is being written with C or C++. Even though we can able to write Python code also in that command prompt, and also we can execute the thing. Fine. So here there is an interaction between this C++, which was used to written Windows, and also another different programming languages, Python. Fine. So these kind of steps are quite possible with Python. This is why it is said to be as a scripting language. To be more specific, if you guys have any idea about JavaScript means, JavaScript is also said to be as a scripting language now. Why? Because it is because of this low node library. Node is nothing but which helps to write Java code without the use of browsers. Fine. Before Java, before JavaScript have been developed, what is the main purpose of developing JavaScript means, for HTML, CSS, like that, for validation purposes and to assist HTML, CSS, and to make something dynamic, they used this JavaScript. Fine. And these kind of JavaScript can only run with the browsers, because each and every browser have an engine which runs JavaScript. Here in Google Chrome also we have a famous JavaScript engine named as V8 engine, which helps to run JavaScript in the browser. Even though it has a specialty, like the JavaScript is the only language which can able to execute its command in a browser console. Fine. So in that way, but in earlier days, if you can able to, if you have to find the RAM capacity of your computer or speed of your computer through Java or Python, means you can able to you can able to do that. Fine. But in case of JavaScript, you could not able to do, because it can able to only communicate with the browser. There will not be any connection between your system and also this JavaScript programming language. To make this as a scripting language, what is a famous a brilliant software engineer, what he have done means, he have taken that V8 engine and started to combine with the C programming C language. So with that help, Node have been created. With the help of Node, in case, so Node is nothing but which makes JavaScript as also a programming language like other programming language like JavaScript, C, and like Java, C, and like that Python. Fine. With the help of this node, in case if you have to interact with your system, then you can able to interact. At the before, the first time JavaScript was a functional language, but classes have been added. Now it have also become as an uh, object oriented programming language by this time. Fine. So this is said to be as a scripting language, that means which can able to interact with other programming languages. Fine. And next is, it is an interpreted language. Interpreted language, what is meant by compilation? First thing to know what is meant by compilation and what is meant by interpretation. Compilation is nothing but, so while you are compiling a code, means that high level machine language will be converted to a machine level coding, like in the form of bytes, in the form of byte forms it will be converted. After that only it can able to execute. So here there is no process of compilation in Python, there is only interpretation. Interpretation is nothing but, so both compilation process, uh, that means this compilation process will be automatically done while executing the code itself. You will not be having any procedures like compile and also execute. Directly you can able to execute that code, but while executing itself, this compilation process will be done. So once you are installing Python, means you will be having that IDLE module. IDLE means your development environment you will be getting. So in that development environment, you can able to code in two ways, like in other programming languages, you can able to write 2 or 4, sorry, 10 to 20 lines as a step, and you can able to execute it. Or else it has an interpreter window. Like in that interpreter window, if each and every line will be executed once, if you are writing a line, if you are pressing enter, means that line will be checked. If that line is proper, means also, if that line is proper, means you can able to go to next line, or else you cannot able to go to next line. So line by line interpretation also it can able to perform, Python can able to perform. Fine. So this, in while interpretation, both compilation and execution steps is happening at the same time. This makes Java quite faster than Python. Quite faster means we cannot able to find out just a nanosecond faster, because it has separate thing as compilation. While compilation it can able to find out the errors, all those things, and all. After rectifying the error, it can able to execute. But here, while interpretation, both compilation process and execution process have to take place at the same time. So that is the reason it in case of a speed, a nanosecond speed, Java will be having a quite edge apart from Python. Fine. It is a functional programming language also. So if someone is asking you what kind of language is Python, means it is you can able to say it as a Python is an object oriented programming language. It is a dynamically typed programming language. It's a scripting language. It is an interpreted language, compiled language, and it also a functional programming language. Someone might say it does not have a process named as compilation. No, not like that. It is a interpreted language also. It is also a compiled language, because compilation happens at the back end of the browser while you are executing the code. Fine. Functional programming language. So what is meant by a functional programming language means, here Functional programming, it is a programming style in which we try to bind everything in pure mathematical functions. What are all the features that made Python a functional programming language means? For an example, there is a concept named as lambda, and there is a concept named as map, reduce, filter. All these are all some stuffs which you can able to achieve some mathematical operations through functions very easily. Fine. So with the help of these are all some of these features which made Python a functional programming language. This functional characteristics have came into Python through these concepts like lambda, map, reduce, all the filter, with all these things. Fine. So in functional programming language, it uses expressions instead of statements. So we will be using expressions instead of statements. Expression means a mathematical expression. We will not be using any statement as int a, that means like print, like that statement and all we will not be using. We'll be using only mathematical expressions. An expression is evaluated to produce value. So now we are going to see what is the difference between expression and a statement. Expression is evaluated to produce a value, and statement is executed to assign variables. Fine. These are all the two important difference between expression and the statement, which is evaluated to produce a value. So with the help of that mathematical expression, we can able to produce some values, because it is static. You cannot able to change any value. You might change the values, but the behavior will be constant there. Whatever the value if you are giving, if you are writing an expression for a multiplication, means only for that multiplication only you can able to do that. So in case if you have to do some other operations, you have to create a new expression. Fine. But statement is executed to assign variables. See, if you are writing a single statement, means you can able to use that for multiple variables, but here we cannot able to do like that. Fine. So if you are creating one, means that will be used only for a specific purpose here. Fine. And in a functional programming also, there will not be any concept as for loop, while loop and all. There will not be any concept. So iterations in functional languages is implemented through recursions. Recursions means the same loop will be running again and again. That is said to be as a recursion. So all these recursions, all these concepts, we will be seeing this lambdas, filter, map, all these things we will be seeing in the upcoming classes. Right? Some here. So these are all some of the things that you have to know. So why this Python is said to be as a functional programming languages, all those things are mostly in case of interview they might be asking related to scripting language. That is also quite rarely case. If you are asking, if you are telling all these things to an interviewer, means from your mouth they will be trying to raise questions. If you are saying yes, Python is a scripting language or it is a functional programming language, then they will be asking you what is meant by functional programming language or what is meant by scripting language. Unless if you are not saying, they will not be asking you mostly. So some functional programming languages are Lisp, Python, Erlang, Haskell, Clojure. All these things are some of the functional programming languages. Fine. See guys, if you have to note all these things, means if I have to take the note, please just let me know. I'll be waiting to till you take the note. If you are not saying anything, then I'll be going in my flow.
No,
Fine.
Siddharth,
Good.
please proceed.
Yeah, okay. See, there are flavors of Python. Next is nothing but flavors of Python. What is in the flavors of Python means? So till now I'm saying as Python, right? So Python is nothing but it is just a word. So below that Python we will be having lot of branches. Here whatever thing that we are going to see in the next upcoming classes, all these things are said to be as a C Python. C Python means written in C. Most common implementations of Python, which is also combination of C program and also Python. This is what we are going to read in the next upcoming classes. Fine. Python, there is no programming language. That means within that Python heading we will be having a lot of subdivisions. So within this we are going to see C Python. Generally people used to say this as a Python, but this is to be specific, it is said to be as a C Python. Fine. So we also have various flavors like J Python. J Python means written in Java and also compiled to bytecode. That means combination of Java and Python. Iron Python, C Sharp. That means with the help of .NET and Python combination. Brython, This Python is used in the browser, which helps to run the browsers. Fine. Ruby Python, combination of Ruby interpreter and also Python. It is these all things. So micro Python runs in microcontrollers. So see this thing through from easy purpose also we can able to use Python. That means within microcontrollers also we can able to write Python code. But in case of some other programming languages, these kind of features will not be there in other programming languages, right? This is also an important thing, that why my Python is said to be as a multi-purpose programming language. Like within microcontrollers we can able to use Python programming language. This is some of the outstanding thing which does not have in other programming languages. Fine. Good. So finally, what am I going to say means, whatever we guys do in Python, there is nothing as this programming language is big, this programming language is low, like that. It is no, nothing is like that. Whatever thing that you are able to do with one programming language, you can able to achieve that in another programming language also. Only difference is the number of lines, processing speed, execution speed. These are all the things only will be differing, and some of the complications that while programming, all these things will be differing. Apart from that, every programming language you are interested will have its own positives, and also it has own negatives also. So we should not consider that this is quite bigger, this is quite bigger. If you are guys are considering that as means case of an interviews, or also if you're going for any companies, means you will be facing some problems as dominating one programming languages dominates other programming languages. Nothing like that. Every programming language has its own unique style. So for your what to say, for your enthusiasm or to learn, it is good to concentrate on some other programming languages. It is not needed that you have to muck up all those things which is present in another programming language also, just to know how these guys are thinking. In case of a Java developer will be thinking quite different to achieve a specific task, and also a Python developer will be thinking somewhat different. JavaScript developer will be thinking different, because each and every language's syntax is different, right? So because of that, to learn how this specific thing is being executed in that, for your knowledge, you can able to, out of your ego, you can able to search, you can able to learn other programming languages also. But it is always said as you have to be keen in one programming language. Jack of all, master of one. Jack of all means you can able to have a wide knowledge about all the programming languages, but you have to be really good with at least one programming language. Not at least one, you have to be what, basically one programming language, to know from top to bottom or bottom to top in one programming languages, which helps you to get a job easily. Fine. So, and some of the other task here which is quite interestingly in present, which is present in Python means, there is a module named as this, import. Import this. See here. So this is gone up. I have given here as import this. Import this is nothing but this.py is a module. That means the people who have developed Python have already written a Python file named as this.py, like this pyt.py, this.py. Someone have already written, means a Python developer. So what we are going to do means, just we are going to execute that module from here. This is pyt.py. This is a separate Python file. So in case if you have to communicate with that pyt, that means this.py module, means you have to import that module in this module. See, we have to import this.py module. .py is optional. You don't want to use the .py while you are importing that. It is enough that you are giving that name of the module enough. Extension is not necessary. Import this, print this. If I am using this, print this means whatever thing which is present within this.py module, it will be executing this. That is a meaning here. So if I am printing this stuff means, what is an what to say, an unique thing or an interesting thing that you will be getting means, you will be getting a poem related to Python. See, this is said to be as Zen of Python. This is said to be as Zen of Python, which is written by Tim Peters. He is the person who have written this poem related to Python, to tell about the unique qualities of Python. So Guido van Rossum have acknowledged this as the best poem, and he have added this poem in his own Python file itself. While you are executing, sorry, while you are downloading Python itself, it will be coming by inbuilt. See, beautiful is better than ugly, explicit is better than implicit, simple is better than complex. Means these are all some of the behavior which helps to qualify the unique natures of Python. Fine. Fine, guys. So what is the time now? Means now the time is 3 o'clock. Mostly, I think so. It will be quite helpful for you guys to know how what is meant by Python, and where we have to use Python. Why Python is quite popular within this short time. Why we have to move to Python, and some of the special features for Python. All those things and all. Fine. Okay, guys. Let us see you in next class.